Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we take, well, a whole pile of information, articles, data, and boil it down so you get the essential insights fast. Today, we're stepping into something that feels, frankly, a bit like the Wild West online. It's the hidden world of poverty vlogs. Now, if you've spent any time on YouTube or TikTok recently, you probably know what I mean. I'm talking about those hashtag poverty life videos. They are everywhere, right? Billions of views. They often look like these raw, emotional pleas for help, real hardship being documented. But here's the big question we really need to tackle in this deep dive. Are these vlogs genuine looks into struggle? Or are they, maybe carefully crafted performances designed to make money? That's our mission today. Pull apart the facts, figure out what's real support and what's just exploitation. And hey, before we really get into the weeds here, if you enjoy this kind of focused breakdown, getting smart on important topics quickly, you should definitely head over to Mind Expansion Daily. That's where you can find great info like this every single day. Also, while you're listening, could you do us a quick favor?
Please hit like and subscribe to Mind Expansion Daily. Seriously, hitting that like button makes a huge difference. It tells the algorithm, hey, this is good stuff, and helps us reach more people. Oh, and one more thing. If you find value in what we share, maybe consider buying us a coffee. The link's right there in the description. It genuinely helps us keep these deep dives going. Okay, let's get started.
Right, and it's important we first nail down what we're actually talking about. Define poverty vlogs. Because, the narrative is powerful. Essentially, these are videos where creators share really emotional stories, often tearful, tales of barely making it, maybe facing eviction, showing an empty fridge, asking directly for donations. It's all designed to hit you emotionally right away and get support. And the timing here is key and maybe a bit dangerous. This whole genre really blew up after 2020. It tacked into all that economic uncertainty, the pandemic hardships people were feeling. I mean, the source material points out the hashtag poverty challenge hashtag alone, 1.5 billion views on TikTok by 2025. That's massive. This isn't some small corner of the internet.
No, it's mainstream.
Exactly. It's mainstream. And the core issue, like you said, is that fuzzy line between real inspiration, people helping people, and, well, cynical exploitation.
That mix feels, morally troubling.
When you say exploitation, are we talking serious financial harm here, or is it still mostly just online drama? Oh, it's way beyond drama. The financial scale is pretty staggering, actually. Look at the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. They reported $2.7 billion lost just to online scams in 2024.
Wow. 2.7 billion.
Billion, yeah. And our sources show that these vlog frauds, they're a significant chunk of that. We're talking maybe 15, even 20% of that total. And that figure is climbing up 30% just year over year.
Okay, wait. 15 to 20% of $2.7 billion. That's hundreds of millions of dollars.
Hundreds of millions. This is not small change. It's a major growing problem.
That really changes the perspective. If the fraud potential is that high, the motivation to fake hardship must be huge. What kind of money can these creators actually make?
Well, that's the engine driving it, isn't it? The money. Insider reported in 2025 that creators, even the ones specifically making poverty content, can pull in $10,000 a month, or even more.
$10,000.
A month, yep. Through ads, tips, direct donations from viewers. Think about that irony for a second. Pretending to have nothing can generate a really substantial income.
That's genuinely shocking. Making five figures by claiming poverty. It puts a massive spotlight on verification, doesn't it? How can anyone watching tell if it's real?
And that's the core problem. There's this huge verification gap. Statista data. It shows that something like 40% of vloggers who claim they're making poverty content are completely unverified.
40%, so nearly half.
Nearly half. No independent check on their story, their situation, if the need is genuine. It's basically, asking for money based on performance, potentially high-quality acting.
40% unverified. That sounds like a system failure. And with that kind of money on the line, they must have tactics down pat. How do they pull off this heartstring hustle, as the source called it? How do they get that money?
They've really honed it. We can break it down into, three main tactics, all designed to bypass your rational brain and just hit you emotionally. First, and probably the most powerful, is pure emotional manipulation. These fakers, they're often masters of performance, tears on cue, really scripted monologues. The source mentions things like, my kids are starving, or we're getting evicted tonight. Phrases designed to create intense urgency, pressure you into donating right now.
And that works because it taps into something basic in us, right? Empathy.
Exactly. There was a Psychology Today study in 2025 about this. It found emotional appeals can boost video shares by 50%. It triggers our mirror neurons. We actually feel distress when we see someone else suffering.
So what's the red flag there?
Overly dramatic stories, inconsistencies. If it feels like a movie script, maybe it is. Genuine vlogs usually show more balance, maybe small wins alongside the struggles, and crucially, they often link to established charities, not just a personal payment app.
Which leads right into the second tactic, exploiting goodwill through, what did you call it, the foggy funds.
Yeah, the foggy funds. Basically, a total lack of transparency, deliberate vagueness. They'll just say something broad like, please help my family, but help them do what? Where's the money actually going? They don't specify.
And there's data on that too.
Oh, yeah. The FTC found in 2025 that 70% of these fake accounts are vague just like that. They don't give charity names, no EINs, that's the tax number legit nonprofits have, no reports on how donations were used, nothing.
So the biggest red flag financially is pretty clear then. If the donation link goes straight to a personal account, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo.
That's a huge one. Huge. Legit efforts usually provide some kind of verification. They might link to a GuideStar profile, which vets nonprofits, or they'll show receipts, provide updates. Fakes want that instant, untraceable transfer.
Okay, emotional manipulation, foggy funds. It's the third piece. The visuals must play a big part.
Definitely. It's the third tactic, misleading visuals, staging things for maximum shock value. Fraudulent creators often use manipulated media, could be stock footage, sometimes even hired actors, and increasingly, AI-generated or edited content. Adobe said in 2025 that 60% of this kind of content involves some manipulation.
60%. So it's not just sob stories, it's often fabricated visuals too.
Right. They're essentially producing short, manipulative films. The red flags here can be subtle. Maybe the location changes slightly between videos, or the poor setting looks suspiciously clean or well-staged.
Like it's a set.
Exactly. Real hardship vlogs usually have a certain rawness, maybe shaky camera work, just an unpolished feel. The fakes can miss that authenticity. There was that great observation someone shared. Homeless vlog was a mansion. It perfectly captures that disconnect you sometimes see.
Okay, so if we're trying to build our own internal scam radar, we need to focus less on the tiers and more on the practical details. Let's try to group these red flags clearly for everyone listening. First up, let's call them content red flags. This is where it's all emotion, no facts. Be wary of really vague causes, appeals that rely heavily on making you feel urgent or guilty, promises of like miracle results if you donate immediately. And sometimes, ironically, the production might even seem a bit off or rushed because they're just churning out content.
Yeah, good summary. Then you have the verification and financial red flags. This is probably the most critical area. Look out for those unverified donation links we talked about. Be suspicious if it's just a solo creator asking for money directly with no connection to any registered organization. Watch out for repetitive pleas, the same script, same story, month after month, and definitely be cautious about requests for offshore payments.
And a huge one, no updates, right?
Absolutely. If they raise money and then never report back on how it was used, big red flag, walk away.
Okay, let's make this concrete. Can you contrast a known fake case with a legitimate one? You mentioned the sick kid vlog from 2024.
Right, that's a textbook example of exploitation. This vlog claimed a child was critically ill, needed funds urgently. They raised $50,000.
$50,000.
$50,000. Before it was exposed as a total fabrication, the creator was arrested, charged with fraud. They literally manufactured a crisis to steal money.
Horrible. And the contrast.
Contrast that with someone like, say, Mr. Beast, when he does large-scale charitable projects. Love him or hate him, the process is usually incredibly transparent. You see where the money goes, who it helps, the impact is documented. It builds trust through accountability.
Accountability. That seems to be the key difference. In thinking bigger picture, these scams, they don't just hurt the people who donate, do they? They damage the whole idea of online charity.
Absolutely. That's the broader implication. It causes this massive erosion of trust. The Better Business Bureau, the BBB, reported in 2025 that 60% of people are now skeptical of any online appeal for help.
60%. That's most people.
Most people are now hesitant. Regardless of how genuine the situation might seem, it makes it harder for everyone.
Someone on X put it pretty bluntly, didn't they? Fakes make us doubt all charity efforts.
Exactly that sentiment. This erosion of trust is maybe the biggest harm. Because when people become automatically suspicious, they might ignore someone who genuinely, desperately needs help.
So how do we navigate this? How do we protect our own generosity but still help people? We need to be smarter viewers, right?
We do. We need smart viewing tips. Our sources suggest a few key things. First, verify, verify, verify. Don't just click donate. Use tools like Charity Navigator before you give. They check out nonprofits, look at how they spend money.
Okay, verify first. What else?
Second, report suspected scams. Don't just scroll past. Report them directly to the platform and also to the FTC at ftc.gov. These reports really do help authorities track and shut down fraudulent operations.
Good point. Reporting matters.
And third, maybe the simplest and safest route. Consider donating directly to established charities you already know and trust, either national organizations or local ones in your community. Avoid giving to individual, unverified accounts online if you're unsure. That way, you know your money is handled responsibly.
Be the wise donor.
That's it. And the final step, share this awareness, talk about it. One ex-user said something like, reported fake, saved friends. Just by being vigilant, you can protect others in your circle too.
Okay, so the core message really is, be the wise donor. Your kindness is important, maybe now more than ever. But it needs that layer of critical thinking to cut through the noise, spot the fakes, and make sure help gets where it's truly needed.
Precisely. And thinking about that 40% verification gap we discussed, it really brings up a bigger question, doesn't it? If almost half the content claiming poverty isn't verified, is individual vigilance enough? Or do the platforms themselves and TikTok, YouTube, others need to implement much stricter structural changes to protect users, to amplify genuine voices? Where does that responsibility really lie? That's something, to think about after this.
That is a really important question. Where does the buck stop? And we genuinely want to know what you think. Please leave a comment below. Do you agree with our summary of this poverty vlog issue? Disagree? Let us know your take, especially on that platform responsibility question. And also, as we're always trying to see how far Mind Expansion Daily reaches, could you tell us where you're listening from? Just drop your city or country in the comments. We love seeing our global audience grow. Thank you so much for joining us for this pretty crucial deep dive today. We'll catch you next time.